And watching you listen to that open produced by Chris Tannehill, didn't react much to the kind words from Tony Romo, but when you heard the Hail Mary call, that seemed to put you in a place. How you feeling today about that play and what happened at the end of that game?
I mean, how am I feeling about it? It still doesn't feel like real like just kind of like thinking about it, like when you just think about it, but definitely going in, it's like, damn, we definitely lost the game like that. Like just like even like hearing it and seeing it, like I dang near don't even check my ESPN app because I feel like that's all like I'm gonna see. You go on the course, look on TV. That's all they show. So I mean, really, it's just like damn, like we really went out like that. Like it's crazy because like even like before, like I was talking to the guys and I'm just like, bro, the offense gonna score. We gonna have to go out here and get it stopped. It's just gonna be like it's gonna be on us. Like just like keep trying to keep the guys up. Just telling the guys like, man, that's what we work hard for. Like gotta go out here and just close the game out. Prime time TV, man. Hey, that's it. Just go out here, close the game out, and get home.
Yeah, man. I
Sure
mean,
enough,
go
we
ahead.
did everything we could until that last play.
Yeah, I mean, the emotional roller coaster for fans, it must have been crazy for you to have those emotions rolling like that. And then we heard today,
Yeah,
Jalen, that every team in the NFL is pretty much using that play as a teaching tool. So you guys are the
yeah,
teaching
it works
tool.
like that.
Yeah, right?
That sadly it does. I mean, we definitely watch other teams, and when they do stuff, we definitely be like, man, look at these dudes, man. We got to make sure we on top of our stuff, da, da, da. And we are definitely those dudes that we are being looked at and saying, don't do it like that. So, I mean, I know I know how it is.
How should the play have been defended?
I mean, it's really a man-to-man play. You double team the best player. I mean, whoever their selected player is, you double team him. Everybody else is, of course, body on a body, and then shoot, really just trying to stop a guy from getting to the ball. And then KB is the jumper. He goes try to knock the ball down, and then that's pretty much it.
So
And
when you
then we kind
guys
of we have a back tip guy too, just in case something like that happens as well. So
Yeah, yeah, and Kevin Byard mentioned he said that's Elijah Hicks, who's the back tip guy. Like we all been trying to figure out who's doing what, and you were bodying up on McLaurin, right?
my no doubt. And two, I mean, honestly, realistically speaking, it was a whole lot of things that could have been done differently. And I think that's like the frustrating part of the course not being where we're supposed to be lined up. I feel like just for us in that moment, it was a rush situation when it didn't have to be. I feel like we definitely could have slowed down. Definitely, I mean, kind of just looking at it, I feel like we could have possibly took a timeout or something to kind of get everybody situated, figure out who we're going to box out, kind of get everybody calm down and just ready for that last play. But of course that didn't happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still kind of we knew our responsibilities. That definitely isn't something that can go without being said. We knew our responsibilities, but it's a lot harder when you're trying to figure things out on the go versus in practice. It's a control setting. Okay, hey, this is who we're double teaming. We get everybody lined up, make sure they know where they're at. Versus in that situation after the play where Terry McLaurin called the first pass. Now we're kind of looking and scrambling, like, okay, who are we double teaming? Who's going to be who? Where are we going to be at? I mean, I was calling Tremaine over from the other side of the field. I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, like who we double team. I'm like, shoot, let's just double Terry McLaurin, like he's their best guy. So I mean, we were kind of doing stuff like that on the fly. That wasn't even really communicated beforehand. We were just trying to get in the best position we could on the fly, snap the ball. I mean, everything happened the way it happened so quick, and then we weren't lined up where we were supposed to be.
it's rare that another opportunity like this is going to happen again against you guys, but
Right.
what do you hope happens between now and whenever that next opportunity is for you guys to get it right the next time?
I mean, sure. Really just start with knowing what we're doing. I think to really just start with knowing what you're doing. 'Cause, I mean, it's not hard to execute, quite honestly. It's just knowing who's doing what. Again, like, I mean, in the moment, we're trying to figure it out on the go. I feel like for us, that's not a situation for us that we had to figure out on the go. I feel like we could easily have talked about it and made sure everybody was in the right spots. I think, too, a lot of things were just going on and we weren't on our details. And I feel like too, like I said after the game, it's like situation like that, there's no pass, like they're not calling pass interference. They're not going to end the game in a situation where it's like, oh, a pass interference, and now you put them on the 1 yard line. Like you're not getting that call like that. There's never been a PI on a Hail Mary. So to me, it's like I'm going, and like me and Terry McLaurin, we didn't got in a fight in the middle of the play because I went and bodied him and was pushing, and it's like he's pushing me back in the face. I mean, we just kind of going at it, but it's like there's no flag. So I think too, it's like when the ball's in the air, I think the natural football in you trying to kind of get in position and go for the ball or kind of trying to like not be too violent. It's like nah, that's the really one of the only plays that you can be violent and not get called for. Like you can jump on a guy's back, rip guys to the ground, like nobody cares because I mean the offense can do it to us. It's pretty much like a free play is whoever gets to the ball gets to the ball. So I feel like really in that situation, there was too many people in the air. Like, nah, that shouldn't even the offense shouldn't have been able to have opportunity to jump. And we didn't need all our guys jumping. Like at the end of the day, we're just trying to make sure that they don't catch it. So I feel like we really could have just kind of I think kind of just slow down and just focus on what the objective is right now, and that's just generally not letting them catch it.
Bears cornerback Jaylon Johnson joining us here on Spiegel and Holmes. Jaylon, the play before, what would have been your preference? Is it playing it the way you guys played it, or in retrospect you go, we probably should have pinched up?
I think in that situation, I feel like it definitely could have been where, I mean, there's really two plays. I know one that we have, of course, everybody like lines up on the sideline and make him have to throw the ball inside or throw the ball away. Because I feel like two in that moment, I think it was about 8 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been about 7 or 8 seconds left. I wasn't necessarily thinking Hail Mary, and I think they were on like the plus side of the 50 or the minus side of the 50. So it's like they're not throwing, to me, I didn't think they were throwing a 65, 7, almost 75-yard Hail Mary. So I think just in that, I think we definitely could have been up closer. And if they did go Hail Mary, we definitely have conversions within that coverage to where it's okay, if they go Hail Mary, we all got to match up and get a body on a body, and we still went over that plenty of times. So I think for me too, kind of just wanted to, like you said, get up closer because I mean those 10 yards to me made a big difference because he didn't even get the ball to the goal line where they were at. So I mean, I feel like outside of if they wouldn't have got those yardage, I mean that yardage before, I think it definitely wouldn't even been a Hail Mary situation. It probably would have been one of those backyard ball where they just kind of throw the ball, try back and forth and try to figure out a way to get 60 yards or 70 yards, whatever it was. So it definitely could have been done differently. But I mean, at the end of the day, we had our thought process, and at the end of the day, we still could have found a way to execute.
It's another spot where maybe there could be a timeout. They had just taken one with that 6 seconds left, and you guys could have theoretically. The rules for a timeout say that players on the field can call them. It's a head coach or it's players. Do you guys have somebody, is that you or is that Kevin Byard, who is designated as somebody who's allowed to call a timeout?
We don't have that on defense.
Okay. Seems like
nah.
I wonder if that'll come up when the leadership council meets, because you guys might realize a situation like that again where, I mean, it's risky. Timeouts are valuable, but at that point, you're in your final 8 seconds of the game.
Correct, 100%. I mean, timeout definitely could have been useful for sure to kind of take a deep breath, get everybody aligned, and even really think about it and go over the situation. I feel like it's a lot harder to look at the whole situation as a whole and make the right adjustment based on the timing, the yardage, the situation. I feel like that's a lot easier when you have time, clear mind, where people can gather and talk. Our analytics people can talk and figure out, okay, what's the best defense for us to be in this situation with this down or yardage on the field and things like that. I mean, it just really slows and calms the game down versus kind of just letting the clock speed us up and we're at the mercy of the clock. So, I mean, just overall, there's operation just can be better, and then of course technique and finishing the play can be a whole lot better as well.
It's pretty amazing, Jaylon. Like the offense had this situation a few weeks ago where they went to the coaches and asked about the first 15 plays, and the coaches listened and responded. And now here we are with a situation on the defense where it seems guys on the field had a good idea of perhaps a timeout or something that could have happened. Is this an uncomfortable amount of players driving the bus on stuff? Like, does this feel normal to you in terms of an NFL team?
Feel normal as far as what?
Well, as far as the players kind of coaching up the coaches a little bit, frankly.
I think it really just takes just two-way communication. I mean, I feel like it's not even a situation of us coaching up the coaches, but I feel like it's every team, every player, every situation is different. So I think when we have the team that we have, it's a new team. It's not, you can't look at it like, okay, it's the same team from last year. It's like, nah, it's a new team, new situation, new year, new circumstances. Like, things are completely different. I mean, it's no different with you having one girlfriend and you have another girlfriend. It's like, oh, I can do the same thing. You can't do the same thing. You can't communicate the same way. I mean, it's a whole different person. You have to adapt to communicate and be able to take their communication as well. I mean, some may be reserved, some may be open about their communication. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's somebody you're in partnership with, which with our coaches, we're all in partnership to figure out the best way to win. I mean, some years there's going to be a lot of communication from the players. Some years it's going to be more so listening. It really just depends on the year, depends on what's going on. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a player's game. It's a player's league. I mean, we're going out there executing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if it's a situation where we're not going out there and executing, there needs to be a conversation with that, whether that's being put in better positions, having a conversation, and the players have to own up to what their responsibilities are and find ways to execute it. I mean, the responsibility goes hand in hand. It's their job to put us in the best position to succeed, and it's our job to go out there and execute.
Do you feel like they're going to be open to you guys talking to them about some of the specifics from yesterday's game and maybe make some changes that would make you guys more comfortable?
Pertaining to what I would say,
like if you guys say to them, hey, can we designate someone to be the guy on defense that can call a timeout? Or, hey, if there is a situation where you guys feel like you might be in the wrong defense, like what can you do? Will they be open to the idea of you guys walking in there and say, Coach, can we get a little help on this? Or will they kind of tell you, hey, this is the way it is and this is how you just have to work through it?
I know with the timeouts, it's always been an established rule. I know since I've been in the league is that the head coach is the only one that calls the timeouts. So, I mean, especially for defense, that's not something that we've ever thought about doing. Okay, like we should have called a timeout or we're able to call a timeout. That's not ever something that I can say I've never had a conversation or even thought for us to, like, for the player to call a timeout. At the end of the day, that's the coach's job. That's not on the player's job to be able to call that timeout and things like that. I think really overall, I can't say. I mean, I would hope that the coaches are open as far as hearing what we want or as far as being able to adapt and see certain things. But I mean, quite frankly, the truth of the matter is whatever we're given as far as a call, as far as directions to go in, I mean, that's what we got to execute on, whether, quite frankly, we like it or not. I mean, that's is what it is. I mean, of course, there's times where I've been on a team where it was like, nah, we checking that. But I mean, that's definitely something that is able to be done technically. But I mean, that's not something that just is something that we'll just make a common thing or just, okay, yeah, we're just going to go out here and do the opposite of what the hell the coach says. So, I mean, it's just a really unfortunate situation sometimes when it goes like that.
I had to check the rules, Jaylon. I didn't know the rules for sure. I had to check to see if a player can do it on defense. They can, but anyway. So do we?
Assistant coaches can't do it. There was a couple cannot.
Right.
There were a couple assistant coaches that tried to call timeouts in games, and I want to say it was like a big Sunday night game, and it was granted. And it wasn't supposed to be.
I remember that.
Right.
The head coach is the only coach that can do it.
But a quarterback can do it, and apparently it's usually a linebacker, but it could be a defensive captain. We're with Jaylon Johnson here. So, man, have you guys as a leadership council met and talked about what you're going to say to Tyreek? How has that gone on? So far from your perspective? Tyreek spoke to the media today. He obviously apologized on Twitter last night. Heavy situation. You as his teammate, as his friend, and a member of the leadership council. It's got to be an interesting spot for you.
I mean, no, not really. I think what really is there to say, I feel like one thing my dad always told me is life is your best teacher. So, I mean, there's nothing that anybody can say to, I guess, get it, for him to understand it even better or at a more, a serious degree. I mean, at the end of the day, we lost the game, not necessarily because of that last play. Of course, there were plenty of people that weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing. But I think in that moment, knowing if he would have been locked in, I think it would have been a 0% chance of them getting that ball. But I mean, for me, it's like there's nothing to say. I mean, it hurts him, it hurts us, it hurts the team. I mean, it's not necessarily okay. Like, bro, you got to make sure that you're locked in. Like, I'll be beating a dead horse, and I mean that at this point, that horse is very, very much so dead. Like he's like heard about it. I mean, it wasn't too many words really said today because I mean he knows the degree of what happened, and I mean at the end of the day, he's still gonna be our guy, still gonna be our starting corner. So I mean, it's not really too much to go really into detail. We just got to continue to really level him up in the situation because that can get heavy mentally. Then at the end of the day, we still need him to go out here and be the best defense that we can be. And that starts with giving another opportunity on Sunday. And we just can really go from there. It's not too much really to be said outside of leveling him up and getting him going in the right direction.
Jaylon, I want to play a sound bite for you from one of your teammates and get your response to it. This is what was said by Cole Kmet about kind of overall some things that he feel like might be falling through the cracks.
Unfortunately, in that scenario, like he's a guy, gets caught with somebody with a camera and obviously the result of the play that happens and all those type of things. But I think it's a really a good lesson for everybody to learn from in terms of how to respect the game. And I think we had examples of that throughout the game and quite frankly, throughout the week of practice this past week where, there's moments where maybe some guys lay off here and there. And those are the type of things that can happen when you do that for just a split second. And, it doesn't always come to bite you in the butt, but when it does, it hurts. And that's the unfortunate and I would also say beauty of this game is that you disrespect it in a certain way, and it'll come to haunt you in some form of fashion. So I think it's a learning experience for everybody. We all play with a lot of passion. Tyreek plays with a lot of passion, and we all love him for that. But there's definitely a respect level of the game, and knowing that you got to finish it out until those double zeros at the clock.
Have you seen some of the stuff that Cole was talking about, and what do you think of what he had to say?
Cole ain't never lied. Yeah, and I mean, that's the truth, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, there's definitely times for us, of course, we're never going to do everything 100% correct and that nobody's going to be perfect, but I definitely feel like there are times really top to bottom that we're not either detailed enough or detailing the right stuff. Guys not, I would say, locked into their assignments. We're not redoing plays or we're kind of, if somebody messes up, we're not correcting it in that moment. I think just being, like you said, respecting the game, being detailed, giving a damn enough to really just do things the right way. And I think there's plenty of things for us to either do or the things that we are doing do better. And it will, like you said, really just planting the right seeds for us to go out there and win and play winning football. And I think for us too, it's like, yeah, it's big on process and big on doing things the right way. But at the end of the day, what I've been saying is it matters what we do on Sunday. And we can be locked in. I mean, we've been locked in on the goal line not the goal line, the Hail Mary play. We've got in position, we've done it, detailed it, but we didn't do it on Sunday. So it's like, yeah, we can say that, but we didn't execute when Sunday hits. So I mean, really just at the end of the day, we need to do things better, have a better operation throughout the week, a better way of detailing things. But at the end of the day, we got to take that from practice into the game and ultimately make the plays that we need to make to win the games that we need to win.
Yeah, I had to go back and look, Jaylon. It was after the Colts game where you said to us that guys have to check their egos. Guys have to put your ego aside and make sure you do what's best for the team. And it's hard to do. It's hard to do. I saw Tyreek and Terry McLaurin going at it, and McLaurin screaming from the sideline, "You ain't ish! You ain't ish!" And we're all watching that on TV, and it's like, but he's got to put the ego aside in that kind of moment, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see, of course, that part for me to be able to like say, oh, like he did X, Y, Z. I didn't really see it, but I mean, I definitely know it's always. I would say Tariq's like that competitor to where it's like the trash talk and doing certain things that, of course, he hasn't. I don't think he's been flagged for, but definitely has been close. I feel like it was one of those situations where I feel like they were looking for him in that situation to where he was the one that got the flag. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's really just comes down to just knowing how to win. I've been saying it for a very long time. Is just knowing how to win, knowing the time, knowing the place, knowing the just knowing the game, knowing the flow. Just I mean, we needed everything that we can get in that moment. We needed all hands on deck. We needed everything. So I mean, just really knowing the game. I mean, now if we're up 2 touchdowns, trash talking, and a 15-yard penalty, that doesn't really affect the game really too much, or the likelihood of it affecting the game isn't really too much. But just in that situation, we've been down pretty much the whole. Well, not even pretty much. We were down the whole game. Like we need everything that we can get, but it just I mean at the end of the day, life is the best teacher, and I'm sure that he'll learn and grow from it, and he'll be able to look back in his career. Hopefully, it's a long career, and he'll be able to look back like, nah, I know I messed up my second year, da da da, and he'll be able to pass his scars down when he's a vet to the younger guys to in his room. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's done. We're past it now, and we all got to continue to just find ways to move past it and grow from it.
So Romeo Doubs was suspended for a game by the Packers a couple weeks ago. Jair Alexander suspended a game last year when he made himself a fake captain. Remember that one week?
Yeah.
He's a crazy person. But anyway, like, how would you feel if Tyreek got punished in some way? You know, whether it's not starting or something like that. Do you expect that at all? And how would you feel if that happened?
Do I expect that? I'm not gonna. No, I wouldn't say I expect that. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the decision of mine to make. That's completely up to the coaches, the staff. But I mean, if it was to happen, at the end of the day, there's consequences to every decision or to every action that we make. So I mean, it's really just going on. If it does happen, I mean, shit, what happens. I mean, it's not like it happened for no reason or something that just didn't matter. It wasn't like a big deal. I mean, the game is a big deal. The last play of the game is a big deal. I mean, just the execution of certain things are a big deal. But I mean, at the end of the day, if everybody has their hand in the things that they could have done better, things that they wanted to do. I just feel like too for him, it was something where his was caught in the biggest moment. Not necessarily that it wasn't his actions were just that bad, but it's just like in that moment, and they caught the play. I mean, if they didn't catch the ball, nobody would be talking about Tariq talking at the end of the game. I mean, we'd have been taunting him, make the play, he'd go back to taunting him, and everybody's okay, yeah, like we talk. Like I mean, the game with the outlook on him doing that would have been totally different if the guy didn't catch the ball. So I mean, it's not just simply that. Like I said, it's about results, and we didn't get results. So certain things didn't put us in the right position to win, and that was one of them.
You're a real one, Jaylon Johnson. We appreciate the conversation, man.
We truly do. And thank you for always being available no matter what and being a great ambassador to Bears fans that are trying to figure out what's going on.
No doubt, no doubt. You guys have a good one.
All right, man.
The same.
Go beat Arizona, all right? Let's have some fun next week.
Lord knows we need to.
It's very serious now in the NFC because things are not great for the Bears from a math standpoint right now.
One more, Jaylon. Are you there? Are you there?
I think he's gone.
I think he's there. I see him. Oh, yeah. He's reaching back for the mute.
Yeah, I was trying to get the mute.
Yeah, you're the man.
Well, then I have another one, too.
All right, good. Well, let's keep going. So look, it's time. It's time for you to cover the best receivers.
That's the question.
Right. It's time for you to be. It's ridiculous to be on Terry McLaurin all damn day. That 61-yarder probably doesn't happen. Come on, you're Jaylon Johnson. Tony Romo said your first team All-Pro. You heard it right there. Who cares what I said a couple weeks ago? So it's time. How about you on Marvin Harrison Jr.? Both sides next week. Let's go.
Hey man, if I could, I would, boss. It's not up to me. So I mean, our Lord knows if I can get back in that mode of cover number ones, I wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't be far off from doing it. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not my call. It's not. I mean, unfortunately, it's just not my call, not my decision to make. I mean, at the end of the day, we still, definitely believe in all of our guys. I think it's just one of those things where sometimes we feel like it's just best for things to be simplified a little bit, and it's a little simpler being field boundary route concepts are pretty much the same from the field perspective, from the boundary perspective. I mean, being able to have a read, I mean, even in a run, having Tariq as a bigger corner, setting some certain edges and filling certain craft of place and things like that is something that they like for him to do. Of course, having me to the field, being able to play more of the pass concept and things like that. So, I mean, it's definitely a rhyme or a reason, but I would say for us, just being able to figure out the best way to win. So, I mean, whatever they feel as the staff or as the coaching that will give us the best opportunity to win, I'm willing to do it. So, I mean, as long as I get enough time, of course, to get in that mode and to be able to train and study that way, I mean, I'm all for it. I think there's nothing that really I would turn down for sure.
That's, I think, something that a lot of Bears fans were wondering about and wanted to hear from you. So I'm glad that we got it in, and we've kept you over time. So thank you for
No,
answering
you
that
good.
final question, man. We appreciate you, and good luck out in the desert.
No doubt. Appreciate it.